Good afternoon, everyone. It is June the 18th, 2020, and I am Nala Ife for Nala Ife Tarot and Nala Ife Talk Live. I'm streaming on both platforms this afternoon to give updates about the upcoming reading schedule. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'm happy to return and get some readings completed for you. So this is just an informational kind of announcement thing. If some people come in, chit chat, we might do that. You can fast forward through that if that's the case. But I just wanted to give some information. So uh, we're coming upon Cancer season. Tomorrow, I will be doing a reading night. I'm going to stream live on both channels. And so remember that this is going to be per donation, okay, for your reading. So if you would like to get a reading live, a one question, one answer reading, make sure that you are in the place, okay, and you come through and kick it with us, have fun with us, and get some of your questions answered, and just hang out. So it's going to be pretty good. So I have that scheduled for tomorrow night, I believe, at 9:45 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I would love to see you guys in the place for tomorrow. And it is on a first come, first serve basis. And it is donation based. We are no longer doing the free reading nights. It takes a lot of energy. And quite frankly, it's just not, it's not a even energy exchange. However, if you do want to participate, you can participate. We may even do a general read, that sort of thing. But it is per donation that you get your reading. Okay. Hey there, BB. Shout out. Hey there, my love. Yes. Shout out to BB. She is our illustrious moderator on both channels. She's awesome. Okay. And I'm going to give her some love right now. All right. But so we have the reading night coming up tomorrow. Now this could be rescheduled, so please make sure you are following me. Not here, not only on Nala Ife Tarot, but also Nala Ife Talks Live. I don't have anything in the description box right now, but if you wait till this video is posted, I will upload the description box to have the links to both channels. Make sure you are subscribed to both channels, okay, to get the updates. And then on top of that, I use my community board on our main channel, Nala Ife Talks Live, to also give updates as well, okay. But right now, tentatively, we will have reading night scheduled for Friday night at 9:45 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, okay. That is roughly, what is that, 11:45 p.m. Eastern Time and 8:45 p.m. on the West Coast, okay, for those who are, who care about that. So we have also coming up, we're going to resume doing the readings. So Cancer season is coming upon us. This is going to obviously encompass the month of July. If you're wondering about the readings for this month, child, it's a work in progress. But I will ask you to go and check out the reading that I did for all 12 zodiac signs. We did it part one and part two. That is our portion for the month of June. Okay, but we will be returning with the individual reads as promised for the month of July. And these will go based on the 12 zodiac signs. And we're also going to be doing the cusp signs as well, because I know that people enjoyed the cusp readings. There's not a lot of representation, and that's perfectly fine. Okay. I like to observe the cusp, and that's just, me. I'm sure there are some other people who do as well. And so I just think that it's interesting to have the dual energy in the readings, especially if you yourself maybe have those two energies that are on a cusp, maybe sun, moon, rising. Okay. It's just a fun way to look at it. And so we're going to be returning those in the month of July. All right. So it's going to start off a little bit sooner than July to make sure your girl got them all in and you don't have to wait for very long. Oh, thank you. BB posted in the chat the channels as well. Okay. So once this video is posted, you can check the live feed. and you can see the channels. I'm just going to go ahead and put this link up here so you can see that the link is in a live chat. And this is the link to Nala Ife Talks Live, and then we also have Nala Ife Tarot, for those who are joined in on the other channel. Okay, so that's that. We do have world events. Okay, we do have world events that we will talk about. Okay, a little bit more of an expansion. So we will go and definitely look at the presidential candidates. We want to see what's going on. We've already touched on Trump lightly on this channel, and we're going to go more into depth with some of the other presidential candidates about what's going on. Okay. And I'm actually looking forward to the Joe Biden reading. Okay, and just to get the other perspective of what's happening. Okay, all of this will be on screen so that you can follow along. All right, so we can give our interpretation. Okay, as you guys know, we tend to get onto these readings, and we do call a lot of things out. We speak on things, and it's spirit never disappoints. Okay, and so with that said, it can be a bit dark, and we try to offer resolution. However, we have to see things for what they are, and it's not always comfortable to hear the nitty gritty details about what's going on behind the scenes, or to find out that maybe you have been misguided, right, in a certain belief system. A lot of things are coming to light. And so the message that I have to anyone who hears this is there are a lot of uncomfortable truths that will start to make their way to the public eye. And some people, including myself, and this is a lot of people, okay, you feel duped. You feel, ashamed that you weren't able to see something, that you weren't able to see past maybe tricks, lies, deceptions that are laid upon you from these very elite groups of people. And I say groups to not limit it to one area. Okay. However, you have to understand that with that, you are not made of the same substance or energy. Okay. First and foremost. Okay. So a lot of times these things are very shocking because they go against like a human code. Even humans that act out of ignorance, and that can create violence and vitriol and hatred, we at least understand why they're doing it. We understand that ignorance is just like poverty is a root to evil. And I say a root because I'm coming to the understanding that there's multiple roots, all right, that get us to this place, one would deem as evil. Okay. However, we have to also recognize that though these people's behavior seem foreign, it's because of some form of suppression of our intuition. Because we on this channel want to give you your power back. Okay. The naiveness is not something that we develop this. We develop naiveness. Like a lot of people say that, oh, I was naive to something, meaning that, I didn't have a clue about this. But the truth be told is that at least in my profession and in my professional opinion, okay, and to some people that doesn't mean a lot, to some people it does, to each his own. My professional opinion is that we develop naiveness because it suits us. We develop blindness. And I feel for all intents and purposes, we come in to this world fully capable of sussing out danger and what doesn't work for us. We may not have the ability to protect ourselves because we're children. But if you ever pay attention to children, aren't they honest? Whether we like what they say, you know what I'm saying? Whether they don't exhibit, having tact, they're very honest. When something isn't right or something doesn't feel right, there are certain cues that they give to show I'm not cool with this. Something's not right about this. Even people who prey upon children have to use some sort of device to trick the child into thinking that they're a friend and not a foe. They have to do things that are childish to make the child, or not make the child, but to try to bond with the child, or seem as though they are, you know, not dangerous. But even children can get a sense of knowing, oh, I really want that candy, or I'm really interested in the play that I'm seeing, but something's not right. Children come with an innate sense of danger versus safety. So the whole notion of being naive for me, I feel, is something that we develop to cope with the 3D realm. We develop to cope with our decisions, or to make us okay with the decisions that we have. And we miss a critical piece. We stop asking questions as adults. Why did I do that? Well, why does this, like what children do, they ask questions. I've even, they'll say to some of the darndest things. And they'll say, well, I don't know why I did that. Well, the reason I did this, and they'll go and give you a whole laundry list of the reason why they did something. But they spend time as they're developing their minds and their understanding to actually ask questions to help thread their reality into their fantasy world, which in to be quite honest with you, they're so close to spirit, aside from our elders, that is it really fantasy, or is it that they're seeing the instant manifestation, okay, of their thoughts? And I just feel as we get older, we become more jaded, and we experience different things in life. This is what creates the naiveness. I want to believe this, the rose-colored glasses. Okay? Rarely will you see a child say, oh, no, that's a good man. Oh, I believe that's a good man. They'll say, I don't know. I don't know. Like they're not very they're not very certain. They go off of their instinct. And I believe that what we're experiencing in this world, where things are so surprising, is because we have neglected our intuition to fit certain narratives and certain things that we want to uphold. And this is how evil can be assisted. And I've said that many times. When you don't address your dark side, let me talk about this really quick. Because a lot of people don't realize that they are truly downloading agent qualities, and people get so defensive. And I'll tell them, well, you know what? The same thing is true for me. If I'm in a bad mood, if I'm angry, I'm liable to say whatever the fuck is going on in me. I'm liable to display anger and hurt. I'm liable to display distrust. And I'm probably going to regurgitate some of the epithets that ground those suspicions, that pain and that hurt. I'm going to center myself around that, because when you're angry, it drops your IQ. Let's be, scientifically, when you're angry, you're less intelligent. Okay. Not saying that you're not right. It's just the way that you command the energy is not as effective. as if you're measured or calculated. Okay. And so with that said, if you experience a drop in IQ, you also experience a disconnect from spirit, because the highest apex of intelligence is spirituality. And so that fear or that anger, okay, truly drives one to make decisions that undo themselves. We see it so many times, at least as a reader or someone, and this is my profession, I do readings, where I literally deal with people with cognitive dissonance. I mean, I know this is a hot term that everyone's using, but I literally deal with people who you can tell them something, and they are so worried about what I think and what the world thinks. And furthermore, they are so worried that they are making a fool out of themselves, that they bring themselves into a place, they mentally take themselves and emotionally to a place to where they can be safe to love. Like, come on. We understand that your relationship ain't perfect, baby. But what you're not finna do is sit here and try to convince everyone else that they don't see what they see. If anything, stand in your love, right? If you love someone, even with their flaws, stand in that. That is more admirable than trying to convince a reader that they don't see that you are getting cheated on, or they don't see that you're doing the cheating, or they don't see the narcissism. Okay? It's more admirable to say, you know what, I know that this is not right, but I love this person, I'm willing to see it through. Because when you come from a place of honesty and truthfulness, then ain't no room for no lies. Ain't no room. And then that brings me to my next point. People find comfort in bullshit and lies. Don't try to sit here and tell me that that's not true. People find comfort in that. I had a situation happen, and it was more comfortable, and maybe even at the time safer for me to let this person believe that they had an upper hand over me. That person needed to believe that in order for them to be okay in their day, with themselves. They've been with themselves for their whole life. But if the truth came out that I didn't actually need you, you mean to tell me that would undo your whole fucking knowing of yourself? My opinion would undo your whole knowing of yourself. You've been with yourself your whole life. You've been with me probably, we've known each other a year, 2 years, but my opinion has that. You listen, I'm not the one with the power. Okay, maybe I'm using that Capricorn shit real quick, but I'm not the one with the power. Other people are not the ones with the power. We relinquish our power to people and circumstances. We relinquish it to them. And then we make their opinion of us a god. So much so that we must slay that person's image in order to feel whole. We must threaten that person to feel whole. We must correct that person to feel whole. We have to come back and say something to feel whole. The moment that you had to come back and address that person is the moment that you gave that person your power back. And I can say that with confidence because on my separate channel, I addressed a person that was very ignorant in my comments when I did the Black Lives Matter reading. They didn't even listen to me. But the fact that I addressed them was the act of giving that person power. And even in my rant, and even though I was ranting, and that's what that was, even at the end of that rant, I had to be real as a spiritualist and say, you know what? I'm not finna give this bitch my power. The reason I'm upset is because I got upset from what they said. That's the reason I'm upset. Is because I actually got upset. I was actually moved and reminded of something very negative. And it doesn't help that we're in a very trying time. We're in the shit right now. So it definitely I was assisted by the environment. But ultimately, I gave that person the power to piss me the fuck off. You understand? And that is no different than when you need to come back and state a point and not get down to the bottom of what the fuck really happened. Like I said, I've argued, I've learned in my walk at least that just because someone issues an empty threat, right? It doesn't require a response. And to be quite honest with you, not responding is more detrimental over the long haul because the person's gonna undo themselves, their ego, especially if a person feels the need to tell you they're gonna whoop your ass. You on some real shit. Then you deep off into something. You doing really bad for yourself, right? If you need to lead with that, um, okay, for real, it does more damage to not respond and to live well. It really does. And what I'm seeing is that you have people who use that pain, use your insecurities against you, and you're so busy fighting the insecurities and pain, the trivial shit, that you're getting played on a larger scale. You know, you have an under game and you have an over game that's going on. And the best way for you to get distracted from the overall game of what's going on is to get lost in trivial bullshit. And trivial bullshit always hits your ego, don't it? It always hits your ego. It makes it, for a lot of women, they feel a certain kind of way if they man is cheating. They take that shit so personal. They take it so personal. They take it so personal as if it is a representation of them as a woman. As if you can control what someone does with their appendage. And you take it so personal. You take it so personal that you give up your dignity to prove to yourself that it ain't you. So much so that you reduce yourself to competing for said man. And men don't do it exactly the same way, right? They have their faults. I'm just using this as an example. Instead of looking at that man and saying that this man maybe isn't at the maturity level to express what he needs. He doesn't even know what he needs out of relationships. A lot of women who I work with actively are competing with other women and they get hurt And that bitterness resides against the other woman. And I'm looking at them like, but you do realize that you are diminishing the man in that, because you're saying that he's the stupid one who can't think for himself and just goes from one woman to another, and that you need to fight another woman because this man is dumb. So what does that make you, sister? It makes you dumb as fuck too. Think about that for a moment. If you fighting over a dumbass, then what does that make you? Your fight is not with the other woman. And I understand that there are some women who will go after men who they know are in relationships. I get that. I get that all day. But your general or your lead has to open the door for them to come in and destroy your situation. And that is where the root of the issue is. Not in the other woman. Even with the strongest love magique, there still has to be something in that person that allows for that magic to take place. We can also translate this to friendships. Okay? Oftentimes in friendships, and I do readings for this too, oftentimes in friendships, people don't ever want to understand the word jealousy. They look at the word jealousy as if they are as if it means that you're a leper or something's wrong with you, as if it's not a human trait. Yes, it's a human flaw, but as if it's not human. So much so that when I hear people say, oh, I don't get jealous, I get the fuck away from a person telling me that they don't get jealous, because you're a goddamn lie and you're delusional. Get your ass away from me, because you'll get me hurt for real, because you deny your own internal mechanisms of that provide you opportunities of growth. Get your fuck ass away from me if you come to me telling me I don't get jealous, because that's a lie. You're manipulative, and it starts with you manipulating yourself. Okay. Jealousy is painful, right? It states that one may feel inadequate. Hey there, Tawanda. Shout out to you, my love. Shout out to you. Tawanda Vance has a channel here on YouTube. So sorry, guys, that the function for you to click on a person's name in the live feature doesn't allow for you to join their channel. But if you type in her name as it is spelled, you will find her channel. Make sure you show her love, okay? But I get away from people who say that they don't experience jealousy. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay, that allows for a lot of fuck shit to go on. Okay, people then blame their irrational reactions, and I'm saying it's irrational because at least if you say you're jealous, if you admit to that, then you then have to look at yourself, find out where the inadequacy is, and not the physical trait that's inadequate, the feeling inside of you that deems yourself as inadequate. You would then have to find that and work on it. Oh, how dare you actually become confident by addressing your internal mechanisms? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's too difficult. You just go and be it's better for you to say you're not jealous while you go on a smear campaign of your friend talking shit to everybody about that person who ain't did nothing to you, other than the fact that she rolling in a big body Benz and her man fine, and she got a nice house that I'm sure the bitch done worked her ass off for. She probably scammed a little bit, probably sold a little piece, okay? Done probably endured a lot of bullshit, especially if she's a woman of color, to earn the money that she has. Fuck all of that. Because you won't look inside of yourself to feel maybe what it is that you feel insecure about, it's easier for you to then do damage control by tearing somebody else down and bringing them down to size. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? That's the reason why I don't fuck with that. Because if you don't feel human traits, or you claim to not feel human traits, then you have no ability to heal yourself out of the 3D construct. If you're here, you feel the shit. Okay. In other words, if you came here as a soul, then you obviously are struggling with things spiritually that need to help, that brought you to this plane of existence for you to experience and to evolve spiritually. But the complete denial of the emotion or occurrence in your spirit and soul does not make it go away. If anything, it makes it more dangerous, because if anything, your actions, you don't know from where you're acting. I had a person come to me and they literally put because I didn't respond, haven't responded, won't respond because it's not worth it. They assumed that my goal was to win. Bitch, my goal was to get the fuck away from you. And if that is winning, then goddamn it, I was winning. But they had to let me know that I wasn't winning. By what definition? And the fact that you as an adult female need to let another woman know that they're not winning, what does that say about you? It don't say shit about me, because you having a full-on conversation with yourself about me, to me, without my input. And this is where you went. So this is a reflection of you. Again, when we do not, and I'm not saying that there wasn't a history that attributed to this, okay? I'm not going to deny that, because I can be a motherfucker when you piss me off. Okay, that's just like with anyone. Okay, I'm just gonna I'm gonna act on it. Okay, I'm that much of an asshole that I'm not going to be ashamed to display how irrational something is or illogical something is. How dare me be honest with you that you acting like a whole ass, you know? But I am working on my expression about that. But it was kind of like, wow, so that's really you when you leave people to their devices, they will undo themselves. I'm like, that's what it was about. It was about you winning. Do you hear yourself? Then you never were for me and you never were a friend. Because if this is with no response from me was what you were able to deduce, that it was about you winning, or if someone else won, then this means you came into the bitch convinced that you were in a position to win over someone else. And you got what you got. Because it was on your heart. You felt as though you're offended because you came into the bitch thinking that you were better. And you're offended that you are that someone else may be behaving in a way that exudes more confidence and exudes more maturity and rationale. And so you reduced yourself back to that childhood self that needed to prove that you were worthy of love and attention. A lot of the issues that we have, and at some point we will have time. Right now it's not time to talk about these very intricate, very layered issues, because we have other things that are more pressing. But understand this: nobody can oppress a person who is well knowledgeable of self. You know how hard that is for me to say? I've had my ass whooped, okay, on some shit. But the truth be told is that I whipped my own ass on some shit. You understand? Even in that same notion or token, I was in a space of and I allowed for something to go on. Or furthermore, maybe I needed to allow that in order for me to understand spiritually evolving, to understand why certain behaviors and certain beliefs put me at a disadvantage in life. And if I have to come to that realization, you have to understand as a reader that there's no room for me to not to dance around with you or anyone who comes to me. Okay? We're not going to do that. I'm not trying to be an asshole to you, baby. I really am not. That's not the goal of it. The goal of it is to get to the root of things and address the issues head on that allow for the neglect, the anger, the narcissism that you experienced. Why did you experience this? What was the setup from the jump that created the perfect storm that allowed for someone who was narcissistic to then enter your life? Who were you before this event? Because we do not deal in victimhood, though we do not victim shame. We do not victim shame, but we don't deal in victimhood because you can't heal as a perpetual victim. You can manipulate as a perpetual victim. You can get people to do your bidding or to make you feel good, and you could avoid working on yourself by being manipulative and being in a victim mentality. And this is why some people abhor people who are stuck in victim mentality roles, because they see them as dangerous. They see them as manipulative, because that person will always bring up their victim story to gain leverage in the exchange, to make you feel sorry for them, so that you then are not critical of them the way you would be of someone else who you're not privy to that person's background. Okay? And so there's all sorts of things we do to undo ourselves and allow for events to continue on. Okay, the first event, if you survived it, it happened. It may have been scary, it's fucked up, and it shouldn't have never happened. But now you have been called to be a leader. And instead of being a leader from the sacrifice that has been made on your part, you have slipped into victimhood. And you've kept yourself prisoner, and now will imprison other people as well. And we don't got time for that. So in my readings, I know I'm very direct. Okay. I always working on, improving delivery. But we also have to understand that a lot of people who are addicted to readings come from a place, a lot of times, and I'm not saying everyone, some people who are addicted to readings come from a place of self-denial. They go from reader to reader to reader to get the message that they want. Okay? And when you come here, I just can't. I just can't. It has to stop. It actually feels horrible to me to continue on the cycle of psychosis. Okay? And illusion or disillusionment. And this is a dangerous game. When you speak about things and you tell things as they are, it's dangerous, because when people are disillusioned, they can be very dangerous. They can be very vengeful. People can be so disillusioned that you telling them their truth, and this is for anyone who's a reader, you know, or anyone who, you know, sometimes if you are an empath, you have to be careful with telling people things, because some people will get so upset that you're able to see their ouchie that they will live to destroy you, because they don't want anyone else to be able to detect their ouchie. The truth be told is that everyone else can see the ouchie, but they're too fearful to say it, or they need to be led. And you met someone who presume don't know anything, and they don't have any ties to you, and they just saying it, and that you find insulting, because you're like, wow, you just told me the truth, how dare you? But these be the main people telling you to keep it 100 with them. Okay, honey, I can lay you out about that keeping it 100. Some people you cannot keep 100 with them. You cannot. You cannot. You can tell a person 100% something, and it will be your downfall. Okay, so unless somebody's paying you, you probably want to keep it to yourself. Okay, you probably want to keep it to yourself. But I've taken a more Placidus kind of energy when it comes to interpersonal connections, because we have a greater situation that's happening worldwide. Okay, that must need attention. Okay, we'll get more into those things in the readings as the readings unfold. We will get more into these world events, and I'll leave it on the table there. But really, really consider this. If a person's not, if a person is living a falsehood, don't make it your personal sovereign duty to pull them out of that unless they enlist you and pay you to do so. People have killed for much less. Okay? If you wake someone before they are ready to be woke, you might be met with an ice pick. Okay, so please, if you don't want to hear the goings ons in anyone's psychosis, then don't entertain it. Just say, listen, I don't want to talk about this. Okay, I really don't have any input for this. It's not that I'm not trying to be supportive, but I can't be supportive in this. Okay, try to distance yourself from that conversation, not the person, but that conversation, because you can tell if a person is willing to hear or they're not. And if they're not willing to hear, it's not good to even engage in the conversation at all. Okay? And that's some things that's coming up, especially as we get into Cancer season. We have a lot of emotional themes that are going to be coming out, a lot of disillusionment, lots of people falling for false victories and things of that nature. Okay, we are in a number 4 year. Okay, and it is very important to understand that you don't want to rely on your comfort outside of what you're able to produce for yourself. That's how I'm going to say this. Okay. Another thing I'm going to leave you with is, if you feel this is very important. We have to stop demonizing jealousy, okay, and envy. And we have to stop doing that, because when we demonize it, it's very much like racism, right? When you say someone's a racist, oh, I'm not a racist. I have black friends and all of that shit. Like, they come up with every excuse in the book to not actually work on their inner core values that lend them to feeling a certain set of feels and beliefs that are supremacist in their ideology. They are not able to unpack that because they're looking at how dirty the word racism is, and they don't want it to be them, but they also don't want to do the work. Jealousy and envy, we also have to treat it that way, because when people are not willing to look at what they feel inadequate about, they will make someone else a demon for those inadequacies, whether that's money, looks, abilities, all of that. And they completely negate, like us trying, like in my opinion, I guess the best way that I can say this is by you not realizing that, yes, I do feel feelings of jealousy. You deny yourself the ability to do a spiritual inventory, to raise your own vibration and your own consciousness about self. The feelings of jealousy are little indicators, just like pain that we have in the body, that tells us that we have too much inflammation. Our immune system is working in accordance to the way it should, right? We're just putting shit in our body that our immune system is saying, well, because you put this in your body, you're going to have pain here. Because I'm working just fine, is you're putting poison into our system. The same thing occurs with jealousy and envy. When you try to dress that shit up as something else, you will then give yourself permission and license to pick another person apart. When the truth be told is that that whole situation was an expression of your feelings of inadequacy, to which the other person has to be inadequate in order for you to be adequate. Do you not see how that is self-undoing? Because you're admitting that this person obviously has something that you do not, and that makes you inadequate. No matter what you say and know how you win the argument, the fact still remains is that you still hate that person because you hate a part of yourself. Like, people just don't get that. And I know this sounds like love and light, but it's really not, because this is how you get fucked up with dark magic. And this is how you get fucked up when you're doing baneful magic, or when people are doing love rituals, when they're trying to keep their lover, okay, where they're jealous of their lover, or they're jealous of another business and they start fucking this business up, and they then get fucked up even worse. So you just created pain for two people, when the truth be told is the pain you felt was due to your own negligence of your spiritual need of self-confirmation. So you just did more damage than you did good. And this is what happens when people don't address their dark side. So as love and light as this seems, this is the reason why people get fucked up, and their work ends up, the work that they set out to hurt someone else ends up killing their ass or someone that's close to them. Okay, for those of you who are on my tarot channel, you don't see this side of me. You will hear more of this side of me on my Nala Ife Talks Live. But this is why the work backfires. Okay, this is why. Because you was dead wrong from the fucking beginning. And the person who I was using the example of is a spiritualist. And they use certain language, okay, in their message to me. They used certain language because what they wanted was an excuse to come after me. And that wasn't enough. Okay? They went on and pulled the lever because that's what they wanted to do anyway. I wasn't going to stop you. My guides will stop you. My protection will stop you, but I'm not going to stop you. Those days are over with. You know what I'm saying? That friendship is over with. And they were just looking for an excuse in their psyche to justify the baneful work that they were aiming, when it was in their heart to do that baneful work unprovoked anyway, because their feelings were hurt. And why were you ask, why are their feelings hurt? Because they have a superimposed superimposed or superinflated sense of self, which comes from a lack of sense of self. And in the midst of everything that's going on with the protests and the uprise of what's happening in the country, this person could not step out of themselves and still can't. And I'm going to tell you something. Our friendship broke up because I kept it 1,000. Now, how about that? I swear, y'all think I'm bullshitting. This person would have you think that they keep it 100 and 1,000, and they keep it very real, right? But they couldn't handle it when someone kept it very real with them. They absolutely went ape shit and lost their goddamn mind. This is why I tell you it's important to know yourself. It's important. And when you know yourself, you clearly know when other people are under their own spell and how far or not far to go with them. This shit is real, y'all. This shit is real. You would think that in the midst of this whole COVID thing, you know, racial inequality and things of that nature, people would have something more substantial to pay attention to. And they don't. And it's so fucked up because these are people who on paper now. And mind you, I'm not talking no little bullshit. I'm not talking no raggedy. The people I'm talking about, not raggedy motherfuckers. They are well connected and also connected on social media as well. Okay? And to know that they do they own a certain kind of way is discouraging when you hear them say messages that you know, if with the right person and the right spirit behind it, could lead a group of people to freedom. But when you really see, and this is the 8th house shit, what's really going on with these people and how petty they can get, it's not nothing to fucking laugh at. It's not anything to laugh at. If anything, it's something to be very scared about. Because if we can't trust our leaders or our elders to have a certain set of beliefs and to command their energy in a way that pushes us forward, then we in trouble. Y'all think I be talking about regular? Yeah, listen. Connect 4. Okay? That's all I got to say about that. But it's kind of like this. It's, you know how we get so up in arms about Trump, but at least Trump let us know where he coming from. What if you find out how fucked up and petty somebody who you've been rocking with for so long is, and the lengths that person will go through? It's not anything to feel good about exposing. It don't even feel good, because it really shows you how we are fucked up as a people. What people do when ain't nobody looking, or they think nobody of substance is listening. And that's their problem. A lot of folks, they give themselves, they are very congratulatory to themselves and very they underestimate people by habit. And I've told you guys on this channel, please do not underestimate people. You don't know where a person's coming from. If you don't know them, you didn't grow up with them, don't be in the practice of underestimating people or believing that you have an upper hand. Sometimes people will let you believe that you have an upper hand because that's a way to fuck you up even more. Okay? And it's the reason why I say that. And so it doesn't bring me joy to see this person or people who are in leadership act this way. If anything, it scares the shit out of me. Because it's like, with all that wisdom and with all that access, if you can still be this much of a social degenerate, then where's the hope? Especially if you are a person who is in high ranking spiritual positions that command a lot of respect. The world will learn to appreciate more of your Donald Trump archetypes. And I'm not talking about him as an individual and the choices he's made as an individual. What I'm saying is that the world will learn to appreciate people who say it the way that they at that time mean it. Even if they're being ignorant to something, at that time they're giving you the real deal. The world will be shifted as we continue to evolve to appreciate people who are not politically correct. And just because you curse and you say some things that are off kilter and you smoke weed doesn't mean that you're not being politically correct. If the political environment is for you to act indignant, then you're technically still being politically correct. Okay, because you're going along with a narrative. So you are being politically correct. You're just speaking the new language of political correctness, right? What I'm saying is that the world will learn to appreciate people who go against the grain. Yeah, it may piss us off. It may hurt our feelings, and it's very dangerous to do so because, again, people like to cling on to their illusions and disillusionments. They will kill for the illusion. Okay. So, I mean, for example, slavery. But anyway, you know, anyhow, people will learn to appreciate those who go against the grain. Because whether you agree with them or disagree, what they do give you and the environment that they do foster is for you to have a brain to think as an individual. They stay so true to themselves, even if it ruffles feathers. It forces you, because you agree with them. Like 50% of the shit that they're saying, you may not like the way they're saying it, but you actually agree with them. It gives you a set of freedom to think as an individual. And when you build yourself up, and I'm not talking about thinking individualistic, that's a whole different thing. Some people who think with group think are thinking individualistic. Okay, I know that's a paradox, right? Like, Why would someone who's in a group thinking mentality be individualistic? Because they're looking to protect themselves. They need to be a part of a group. The whole reason they're thinking group think is for self-preservation. So the reason for them being in a group think with this group of people is individualistic and self-serving anyway. They're not doing it for the whole, they're doing it for the protection of the group so they can be in the group. Okay, so that in itself is fucking individualistic. Okay, um whatever. So that's the whole, and they're lazy. They don't want to be challenged to be something else. They want to be a part of a group, and they want to command and demand shit and rule over other people. So they have an individualistic, egotistical reason as to why they're participating in group think. Okay, to think outside the box and go against the grain is actually in hopes that other people will think for themselves. So then collectively, everyone is vibrating at a higher frequency because they're able to deduce from spirit more intellectual thought processes. You understand what I'm saying? It forces them as an individual to be better for the whole instead of the whole working for the individual, in a sense of, I need to be a part of this gang because I'm weak as shit by myself, you know? But anyway, hopefully we will start to appreciate these voices and not after they're dead. Okay? Because a lot of these people don't need groups. They actually, if you think about it, they don't want you to follow them. They want you to hear them, you to think for yourself, but they don't want you kissing their ass because it's inauthentic. They want you to be your own person and your own being and add to the collective. They don't want you to be some dumb bunny or a dumb bot regurgitating what they say. But instead they want you to expound on what they're on the topics that they're speaking about, or their way of life, or their belief systems, to foster evolution of thought process, theory, whatever, you know. But I'm just ranting right now, guys. I'm just going off and talking about different things, and I haven't talked to you guys in a while, so I just wanted to chit chat with you and I guess express my thoughts and talk about what's coming up on the channel. Again, we do have the readings dropping, and I'm hoping that on this channel at least we can foster an environment that allows for people to have their power back, yes, but to feel strong in their decisions and feel strong even if the decision got them in a little bit of trouble. That's okay. Give you your power back to know that you are the creator of anything that's going on in your life. Your experience, everything, in hopes that you're able to craft out a better life for yourself as you continue to grow. That's really the ultimate goal of it all. Okay? And that's the path that I'm on. I don't want you to follow me. You can just walk with me. Okay? This is your girl Nala Ife for Nala Ife Talk Live and Nala Ife Tarot. Make sure you join up on both channels. Thank you for listening. Thank you for inputting. Thank you for thinking and lending me your ear and your mind. Okay? BB says here, Biggie said, it's the ones that smoke blunts with you now. They want to grab the the grease and come and get you. Yeah. They want, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I believe in, I don't believe in classism in a sense, but I do believe in being amongst your rightful peers. This is why I believe in it, because it's a way to suss out jealousy, because if you're around your peers, then there's no room for jealousy because you all have acquired the same amount of knowledge, maybe in different ways, but at the same level. And if anything, you can enlighten one another. You know, we'll talk more about the peer system. Okay. It's not classism. It's more of a peer system. So we'll talk more about that. I'm going to go ahead and head up. I love you guys. We'll talk soon. And I'll see you in the reads. This is your girl, Nala Ife. Peace, everyone. Bye.